The sun had teeth. It bit through skin, through cloth, through sanity. Elias Granger stumbled across the endless dunes, his tongue swollen, his lips split and blackened. His canteen had gone dry 2 days ago, and he'd long since stopped counting how many times he'd cursed the planet of Naryan, a world of shimmering heat and false horizons. He was an off-worlder, a scavenger who'd come chasing the wreckage of a crashed freighter rumored to hold valuable alien tech. Now he was just another fool dying in the sand. He fell to his knees, vision spinning. The desert around him seemed to shift like a mirage, rippling, reshaping, and then he saw it, a green shimmer. Trees, water, a pool reflecting light, an oasis. He laughed weakly, a sound closer to a sob, and crawled toward it on bleeding hands. His fingers touched wet soil, real, cold, wet soil, and he nearly wept. He plunged his face into the pool, gulping greedily. The water was cool, alive. He didn't even question its taste. A hiss split the air. Elias froze. Shapes moved in the shadows, tall, sinuous figures draped in leather and bone. Blades glinted. Eyes like molten bronze watched him from beneath horned helms. One stepped forward. Her skin glistened like dark gold, muscles corded and strong, and her long braids shimmered with beads made from teeth. She pointed a spear at his throat. "Waters earned, off-worlder," she hissed. "Serve or we feast." Elias blinked up at her, chest heaving. Her voice rolled like thunder across hot stone. Behind her, a dozen others emerged from the palms, female warriors, all armed, all watching. Their armor was made of scavenged hull metal and bone. He tried to speak, his throat burning. I didn't know. "You drank," she said simply. "That makes you bound." 2 of them seized him, dragging him upright. His body screamed in protest. "Wait. Please, I can work, I can pay you back," he stammered. The leader's sharp eyes studied him. "You'll do more than work, human. You'll prove yourself." They brought him to their camp, a hidden fortress of tents and half-buried wreckage built around the oasis. Engines and solar panels, scavenged from fallen ships, powered flickering lights. Children played with carved bones. Warriors sharpened their blades with slow, deliberate rhythm. The leader stood tall beside a stone altar carved with ancient runes. "I am Rinha, daughter of the burning wind," she said, her spear planted in the ground. "You've trespassed into the domain of the Tshar, the Oasis Guard. We drink only what we earn. You will too." Elias bowed his head, trembling. "I didn't mean disrespect. I was dying." Rinha's eyes softened slightly, but only slightly. "Then you live because the water allowed it. Earn it, or the sands will take you back." She threw a spear at his feet. Elias stared at it. "You want me to fight?" "To survive," she corrected. That night, under a burning sky of 2 moons, Elias trained among the Tshar. He was weak, his limbs shaking, his wounds open, but something fierce flickered in him. Rinha's voice cut through the heat. Again, he lifted the spear, sweat streaming down his spine. She struck fast, too fast, and knocked him flat. "Pathetic," she said coldly. "You swing like a child." He groaned, forcing himself up. "Then teach me." Her eyes narrowed. There was something in the way he said it, not as defiance, but as a plea. She circled him. "We earn everything here, even knowledge." "Then I'll earn that too." The warriors laughed, a low, amused sound. But Rinha only stared at him a long time before nodding. "At dawn, you work with me." Days turned to weeks. Elias carried stone, sharpened spears, repaired solar panels, and tended the beasts that roamed the camp, massive horned creatures that the Tshar rode into the dunes. At night, Rinha trained him beneath the moons. She showed him how to strike, how to use momentum instead of strength, how to read the wind. His muscles hardened, his burns healed, and the desert began to feel less like death and more like belonging. The women watched him with curiosity. Few outsiders had ever lived among them, fewer still had survived the training. One evening, as he sat by the fire, Rinha approached with a gourd of water. She handed it to him wordlessly. He hesitated. "Is this mine?" "It's earned," she said. He drank slowly this time, respectfully. For the first time she smiled. But peace never lasted in the desert. A storm rolled in, not of sand, but of metal. Scavenger raiders, men from the southern dunes, had followed the same rumors Elias once had. They came with hoverbikes and plasma rifles, seeking the oasis and its hidden water stores. The Char prepared for battle. The air crackled with tension as Rinha assembled her warriors. "You fought for water," she told Elias, handing him a spear tipped with plasma metal. "Now fight for life." Elias looked at her, at the scar that curved along her cheek, at the strength in her eyes, and nodded. "I'm with you." The raiders came at dawn, roaring like demons. The first blast tore through the outer tents. Rinha shouted orders, the Char charging like lightning, their blades gleaming under the twin suns. Elias fought beside them, heart hammering. He moved like she had taught him, low, swift, unyielding. His spear cut through armor, his hands blistered but sure. He'd been dying when he came here, but now he fought as if he'd been born in this desert. A raider lunged at Rinha with a blade. Elias saw it before she did. He tackled her aside, taking the strike across his ribs. Pain exploded, but he didn't stop. He drove his weapon up, ending the raider's breath in a single motion. When the dust cleared, the raiders lay broken among the sands. The Char stood victorious. Rinha knelt beside Elias, her hand pressed to his bleeding side. "Foolish," she whispered. "You could have died." He smiled weakly. "Would have been worth it." He awoke days later in her tent, wounds bandaged with fragrant herbs. The sound of running water echoed faintly. The oasis still alive. Rinha sat nearby, sharpening her blade. When she noticed his eyes open, she set it aside. "You fought like one of us," she said quietly. "You earned more than water." Elias tried to sit up. "What does that mean?" She tilted her head, her gaze unreadable. "The Char owe you blood debt. You saved me. That makes you bound to the tribe." He frowned. "Bound how?" Her lips curved into something halfway between a smirk and a challenge. "You stay. You serve. You live among us, as warrior, as brother, or as mate." The air between them thickened. He met her eyes, saw the fire in them, the fierce life that the desert had burned into her. He swallowed. "If I stay, I serve willingly." Rinha leaned closer, her braids brushing his shoulder. "Then drink," she whispered, handing him a new gourd. The water was cool and sweet, but he noticed something else this time, a faint metallic taste, sharper, deeper. He blinked. "This isn't from the pool." Her smile widened. "No. It's from the well beneath, the blood spring. It binds the drinker to the oasis forever." Elias hesitated only a moment before drinking again. Rinha's voice was low, reverent. "Then rise, Elias of the sand. You came here dying, but now you belong to us." Seasons passed. The desert changed him. He rode with its Char on raids against slavers, guarded the oasis, hunted the beasts that prowled under the burning moons. He learned their songs, their rituals, the way they spoke to the wind. Sometimes, at night, he and Rinha would sit by the water, silent except for the sound of the desert breathing around them. "You know," he said once, When I first found this place, I thought it was a mirage. It was, she said, her gaze soft. Until you earned it. She leaned close, her hand resting against his chest. Waters earned, human. But love, her voice dropped to a whisper. Love is given. And beneath the twin moons of Naryun, as the oasis shimmered with life in the endless desert, Elias realized that he had found something rarer than water, something worth dying for. Or living for. Forever.